All right, let's see if this works. Streaming, streaming, streaming. Streaming, streaming, streaming. Streaming, streaming, streaming. Streaming, streaming, streaming. Let's see if this kicks in here. Oh, what's going on? Hello, 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 hello. I'm going to give it a minute here or so to see. Looks like I've been live for a minute and a half now. Let's see when this actually kicks in on the channel. I'm going to wait for just a moment here. This is a brand new experimentation. I can see that the scheduled actually kicks in. Oh, there you go. On the channel. I'm live. I'm live. That is awesome. Okay, very good. Without further ado, let's go. This is Thomas Bartke streaming live, and this is something I haven't done in a very long time, maybe not ever on this Artisan Sound channel, but I want to introduce something new that is, I think is going to be super helpful if you get to watch the actual live process that I go through. And if you're used to setting up your own sound with something maybe like using QLab and things like that, you might be surprised to see how much more simple the setup is in the system that I'm using here. So we have a show to set up, Cinderella, the Broadway edition, Rodgers and Hammerstein. We have licensed this through Concord Theatricals with our homeschool group. And I'm the music director, and I'm also in charge of running the sound. And so the show is delivered, the tracks are delivered, or are going to be delivered. We actually don't have access to the performance tracks yet, but they're going to be delivered in ROCS StageTracks, and that's the app that you see on the right side of the screen here. Okay, so that's on the right side of the screen is ROCS StageTracks. And on the left side of the screen is AudioHost ShowPlayer Pro. That's an iOS app, and it does run on Apple Silicon computers, so Apple Silicon processor computers. So anything that has an M1 or larger or higher Apple Silicon processor, the app will just run, even though it's just an iOS app. But you can also run it on your iPad and your iPhone, and you can do the same kind of setup in it there as well. And so what we have, I don't actually have my screen sharing set up to show you this, but at the link that is already in the description, you can see the full list of ROCS Right on Cue services. They're the makers of the StageTracks app. And they're kind of like the go-between that delivers the audio files, the performance tracks, as well as the practice tracks in the rehearsal app. But so we have a full list of their shows that are available for ShowPlayer on our website at audiohost.com. And you can take a look at that. And the link is also in the description of this live stream and the video when you come to it later. So what I'm going to do, and we have free show files available for that, and that's where I'm going to start the setup. So I'm going to be in AudioHost ShowPlayer Pro here, and I'm going to install the new show, and I'm going to get it from the free file for Cinderella. Actually, I actually have to look at my own website here to make sure that I can find the correct show. And I start on the right download. Okay, here we go. Cinderella Broadway. Okay, here is the actual show code. It's on our website. I'm just copying it. And oh, by the way, so if you're watching this, if you happen to see this live, which I doubt anyone will, but if you do, this feature is actually not yet in the published version of the app. But so when you see this later, you can check it out and implement it. Okay, So back here in ShowPlayer, I'm going to paste this show code in there. So it's Cinderella B-Way dash free. That is the free show file. I'm going to load it and see what happens. And it does load. Isn't that something? That is awesome. So here's the playlist, and you can see on the playlist, you can see all of the songs that are delivered in this show in StageTracks. And so it's all set and all prepared to trigger the starts and to start the shows, start each of these tracks from ShowPlayer. So right now I don't have the right show loaded in StageTracks. That's because I don't have access to the performance tracks yet. So I'm going to do that part later, but I still want to show you, how it works. And I'm going to have different videos about how the synchronization works and all that. So that's not the topic of this particular video, but I want to just show you what I go through to set up the mic automation cues in ShowPlayer, and then get them to be triggered from StageTracks, right? So that the automation on the board is completely handled by ShowPlayer, and ShowPlayer also remote controls the StageTracks app that runs in the background. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into what is in here and what isn't in here yet. So right here, if you go, for example, into Prologue, there's the Start Song 01 Prologue. So when I'm opening the StageTracks file for Cinderella, which this is not, there will be a song here, 01 Prologue. Similar to this one here. This show is Once Upon a Mattress, and it has Prologue Many Moons Ago. So this one happens to be 02, but for the Cinderella show, it will be 01 Prologue. It will be right here lined up. And then when you hit Go Cue here, it'll start the song in the show over here. Okay, once it's all connected and done. But so what isn't here yet is anything that has to do with microphones, right? There's nothing in here with microphones. This here is our mic switchboard that actually controls mics directly on the board when the board is set up and hooked up to the app. And so this is the mic stage when everything is muted, and whatever is highlighted like this, that means this mic is open, so unmuted, okay? Now, so I'm gonna start by setting up the mic map in the app. And this is here in the settings. There's the mic map right here. So there's no mic map configured yet. That means I can actually, and I wanted to show you this from scratch, setting up the show and setting up all of the mics and setting up the mic automation for starting with the free template or with the free show file that I just newly downloaded. And the link to all the download files are on the website, and you can just download the app, install the app on your iPhone or iPad, and then get access to the show. And this is exactly what you're seeing right here. This is why I want to do it this way, okay? So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to hit the plus button, and I'm going to just hit 16. So 16 mics is kind of the default. The app supports up to 32 automation channels, but I think we're actually going to be sufficient with 16 channels. You can also add later, so I'm just going to make 16 for now and hit create, and there you have 16 channels. Now they're all named just by the channel number right now, so this is kind of the first thing that I'll do, is I'm going to enter character names here for the 16 channels so that I'm committed to that, and I have it specific to that. So here we go. Let's just do this, and it makes these fields here editable. And I'm going to just use my cheat sheet, my spreadsheet that I already have, where I've already made some thoughts about that. This here is going to be Ella. This is going to be Topher. And then what? I think Pinkerton. Let me go back to this file. Topher. Pinkerton, Marie, Madame. Pinkerton, Marie, Madame. Pinkerton, Marie, Madame. And then Gabrielle, Charlotte, and Sebastian. Gabrielle, Charlotte. I'm going to call them American names now. It's fine. Sebastian, and Jean-Marie. All right, very good. So I actually have only 9 characters here that are actual singing characters with lines and songs, named characters we call them, right? Let me just double check here. I'm looking at the script. So I have here next to me the script and the score, the piano score with all the singing parts. And let me just double check here. Sebastian, Marie, Gabrielle, Charlotte, Jean-Michel. Oh, it's not Jean-Marie, it's Jean-Michel. Let's fix this. Jean-Michel, like that. Jean-Michel. Yes. All right. Then we have, let's see who else is here. Lord Pinkelton. Oh, yeah, that's here. So then we have giant, fox, raccoon, footman, coachman, knights, peasants, serfs, townspeople. So I'm just going to, and then ladies and gentlemen in the court, servants, etc. So probably what's going to end up happening is that I'm going to set these mics aside for ensemble singers, who then also will be assigned to any speaking or solo singing lines that might come up. Okay, I can already think of 2 right now that are solos in, let's see here. Are solos. Let me see if I can get this information quickly from my music spreadsheet. All right, like so. Let me see. There are solos, of course, in the Princess Giving a Ball. And there, Ladies with Solos, Stepsister's Lament. Let's look at that score real quick. Okay, so I'm just going to warn you, this is not going to be super entertaining, but maybe I'll do some highlight reels from this later, but I'm just going to go through it all. I reckon this live stream will take about 2 hours or 2.5 hours, and during that time I'm hoping to get all the way through Act 1 and be able to set up everything that we need. All right, so 15A, here we go. And they're named here, they're named ladies, but there are some solos. Let me see if I can get the solo ladies. The solo ladies. Solo. Aha. It just says solo. And then it says all. I think, if I remember correctly, we have 2 people for that. So I'm just gonna what am I gonna do with that? I'm just gonna name them something here in the thing. Let's just put them right here. Solo. Let's just call Lady 1 and Lady 2. Okay, and we'll just leave it at that. So we're gonna probably gonna fill this up with, we have slightly more girls than guys in the cast. So probably this is going to be some more ensemble female, 3 ensemble female 4, and then we're gonna have 3 guys. I'm not gonna name them right now. We can name them later, and it doesn't really matter that much. It's just so I have kind of an idea and a commitment to who's on what mic. All right, good. So now I have the mic map. I'm committed to that. I don't even need to really configure this right now, but I just like that it is like this, and it's super flexible. You don't have to like be completely 100% finally committed to it, because it's super easy to move them around and even repatch them to different channels on the board and stuff like that. Again, there's a different other videos for this. So I'm just going to save it here and close it. And now we can start setting stuff up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my script in front of me, and I'm going to have my score in front of me. And I'm going to reference them in deciding what needs to happen here. All right, so in the prologue, we're going to have Ella and chorus, and let me get on the right page. And I'm going to show you in detail everything I do and how I do it. All right. So there's music number 1 is overture, and that goes on, and then we go immediately into music 2. So we are here on the second song. Yes, this is 00 overture, and then 01 is that. So right here, I'm going to start entering how I do things. So what I usually do here is I'm going to say page 4. And then I'm going to go after overture. That's how I do it. Okay. And then no, let's see. Maybe they're oh yeah. So they're already, chorus is already singing. Well, not right away. The chorus actually comes in. Hold on. I need to catch up with my score here. Prologue, there you go. Oh yeah, chorus comes in right away in the second measure. So we're going to just put the chorus automation on here, and we're just going to put at least these people on here, right? So probably also some of the main cast members, but for sure all the ensemble singers that are not in the cast of the main principals, right? So they're going to be on, yeah, through 9, and probably some more. Okay, now usually what I do to kind of mark things that still need to be done and looked at, I'm going to write to do, like so, add principles, like so. Okay, principles, like so. Because when I do this, I can, so now I'm going to save this, and it's going to show up here. Well, this is the actual trigger event that starts the song in StageTracks, right? It starts the song in StageTracks, and it will also set the mics. Oh, that's interesting. So this is actually starting a song in StageTracks. I don't know if you were able to hear the music, but it did start it. But it obviously is the wrong music, but that doesn't matter. So for demonstration purposes, it's actually fine what we did, because we have, let me see, let me make sure if I have a way to put this on ShowPlayer Pro. 1, 2, 3, hello, hello. I think maybe well, I think you can kind of hear it through my microphone. You can kind of hear it through my microphone. So it is working, and you can see it over there. Yeah, right? Let's see. Sorry, I'm messing around here. So this one, you can see how in the background StageTracks is actually running, and you can hear the music a little bit coming through the mic. Okay, that's close enough. That's exactly what we like to do. Okay, wonderful. And then also these mics here came unmuted, right? That's exactly what we want as well. And now let's see, is Ella doing anything before she starts singing? No, there are chorus singers, and then It Makes You Wish, that's when Ella comes in. And that's in measure. Cinderella enters in measure 21. So let's just have her go open in measure 21. And so now what I do is I add a new event. So this event was already there, right? This was the event that came already with the show file that I initially downloaded. And you have access to this too once the app is released with this version. You can download the exact same show file. Now I'm going to add the first new mic cue. And this one, I'm going to name this by measure 21, like so, M21. And then I'm just going to go Ella enters, and I'm going to just add. So you see the ensemble is still open, and they also still need to be open. And I'm just going to add Ella. So this mic switchboard here is the switchboard that is going to trigger the next event, this event here. And that switchboard here is showing what is currently going on the board, okay? So I set always the things that are relevant to the event that I'm creating new down here, and then here it shows me what's currently on the board. All right, so I got in here, measure 21, Ella enters. Now this doesn't need to have a cue line that alerts the operator, because it's not going to be manually triggered. Okay, this event is going to be automatically triggered. And if I'm setting this up live in the show, or if I have the show here, if I have the correct show file, then what I do is I just go copy OSC, and then I'm going to go over to StageTracks, and in the correct song here, I'm going to go into the measure number that I spotted in the queue, in the score, right here in 21. And I'm going to add an OSC event, and then I'm just going to hit paste over here and paste in what I just copied from here. And then I'm going to save it, and there it is. Now I have to be really careful with this, because this show, Once Upon a Mattress show here, is already configured. And I'm just actually going to take a quick second to double check on the settings here and correct them, because if we're actually demonstrating anything here with regards to these events, then we might as well have it set correctly. And again, I'm not explaining it right now, because this is not the point of this live. And this is already set good. Okay, yeah, fine. Everything is already good. Okay, so now I can just quickly demonstrate what happens here when and look at this. I ended up in the wrong song, but that's a bummer. Well, that's a bummer, because now I have to redo it, but that's fine. So I'm just gonna redo it. That's what live broadcasts do. This is the right song, and it skipped already to the next one, because this song only had one element, or one event before. So right here, we're going to recreate just the same exact event, but we're going to have to recopy it from here and bring it back over here and edit this OSC event and paste the correct event ID here, the correct event link. And now, just so we don't get confused later, we're just going to yank this one out from here. And now we're here. Now we're here. So we're now in the prologue. Now we're in the right song. Now we can see what happens. Okay, so this starts playing, and it goes on and on and on. And then eventually it will come over here. And when this plays, bam, it now actually switched. You can see what happens here. It switched the mic board, and it triggered the mic changes on the actual physical console, whatever it is that you have hooked up to it. And so that's the whole purpose of this. So this is the only demonstration of these events that I'm making for this entire video, because these are not relevant. This is the wrong show, and I'm going to actually do this part later. And we have a really cool and convenient way to do it later without like having to go through everything. I'm going to show you that later as well. Okay, we're still in the first song in terms of setting up, because Ella just entered, and now she's open there, and that's good. But now let's see what else happens. So she actually starts singing in measure 36. And then we have Madam off stage, Cinderella. And that happens right at the end. So we had better open her at measure 44. All right, so we'll make a new event here, measure 44. And that is going to be Madam off stage. I'm going to mark it like this, because that way the sound operator, or if the operator is the same as the mixer, and Madam is on 5, if they're the same person, then they can just use this as a hint to turn this mic down a little bit so that we don't get, so that she actually sounds like she's off stage and not right on stage already. All right, good. So 5 is Madam, and I'm going to save that. And this is also going to be triggered from StageTracks. So if I had the right show here, I would now copy this event and bring it over here, paste it in there, and set it all up so that, I'd go through measure 44, and this would be the last measure in the song. I would create a new OST event here and just paste it in, and done. So the main point of this demonstration, you can already see this. I don't want to, hold you up with going on with your day when I can show you this already in this short example. I don't know if you've ever tried to set up mic automation in QLab, but this process of just automating by simply adding the open mic to what already is visible on the board currently, right? You saw what I did, right? In this event here, I set these ensemble mics. Then in this event, when we created it, these were already there, and I just added number 1 to add Ella to the open mics. And then this one here, same thing. These were already all here, and I just added number 5 to open Madame at that point. So if you try to do anything like this using QLab, or if you've ever tried this before, you will now have a big aha moment and realize how much simpler and easier this is to do with ShowPlayer Pro. And that's exactly why I've created the app and why I'm using it to set up shows. All right, let's continue. Now, if you've already seen enough, you can go on with your day, but I'm just going to keep the live going because I think there might be other interesting things that happen. Interesting. Okay, so Ella in chorus, fine. We're now at the end here. Madame off stage, Cinderella. Ella runs off as a scene and music transition. All right. Now we get to the Battle with the Giant, scene 1, a rocky glen. Aha! So this is actually playing a taka. So see what happens here. Let's look at the file now. So at the end of prologue, we are going to go to this, and this is starting the song manually. So that is slightly unusual, because if the song is actually set to play a taka, then you wouldn't have necessarily have an event here to manually trigger that. But since we do have that, we're just going to put in here an appropriate cue. So now we are actually on page. Now we're on page 3. That's kind of weird, isn't that? Isn't that weird? Wasn't that? Oh, that was page 1 before. Why did I set this to something else before? Didn't I? Okay. Well, so anyway, this is page 3. I don't know why I put page 4 on the other side. I did, but I think I did. And then, so the cue on this is cue, Ella runs off. Now we're going to start this song. And the mics here are probably, let's see what's going to happen. 2 knights run out. A crowd of knights back on stage. Fearfully, the giant appears. And then we have Topher talking. So there's a bunch of crowd that are unmiked. And then in the scene itself, we're going to have Topher, Sebastian. Lord Pinkerton is there too, but yeah, he has dialogue later. So we could do this 2 different ways. We could either, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the song with all mute, and then I'm going to add a little bit later. So this is a slight, I don't know, maybe I'll do this. So this, I'm just going to call it something buffer, and I'm going to put this at the end. So this is just so I don't run into the next scene all the time. Now I triggered the first event, which set all mute all on the board, on the switchboard, and now I'm going to add the actual event. So this here is just a just an edit mode artifact that is going to be removed later. So what happens is when I click this event here, when I trigger this event, it advances to the next scene, and I don't want that while I'm creating stuff. So I'm just going to put an event behind the last event, that's the last real event, so I can now add a new event, and the new event is going to be added right after this purple one. So the buffer will always be pushed later, right? So that's just how this is most practical. All right, now let's see. What do we say? We add. We're still on page 3, and we're going to be at. I'm gonna just put when Topher appears. That's when we're gonna open it, okay? And we're going to have Topher in it and Sebastian, Topher, Pinkerton, and no, Topher, Sebastian, and who else? Who was it? Yeah, Topher, Sebastian, and Pinkerton. Yeah, Topher, Sebastian, and Pinkerton, and that is 2, 3, and 8. All right. 2, 3, and 8. I'm going to hit save here. And Topher appears. Now, there are these 3 guys that are unmuted. And see, now I still have the buffer that prevented the scene from turning over to the next one. But I'm actually done with this scene now, because the next cue is the music cue number 2, Me Who I Am. So I'm actually going to yank this buffer cue back out from here, because I'm done with this scene. So the music will start, everything is muted. When Topher appears, I'm going to hit this one, and then I'm on the next song. So I'm ready here to enter the next cue note, and I'm going to go page 4. That's really page 4 now. And the cue line is to the castle. And so the way I notate it is like this. Whenever the go button needs to be pushed relative to the cue line, it gets a double forward slash like this, right? That's how I do it. And what is going on there? Well, so Topher puts the horse to the castle, Okay, Topher starts singing, and then a little bit later, Knights, Sebastian, and Lord Pinkerton are going to sing. So right here we just need Topher. Let's just make this the Topher solo here, because the cue line to the castle is already Topher, and the others leave. We may just leave them open as well, but I'm just going to make it Topher solo. Oh, but Topher is not number 1. Mistake, right? So Topher is number 2. Ella is number 1. All right, here you go. Okay, now it's right. Okay, so again, now the song will start, and probably the wrong song plays in the background. So that's the wrong song because we have the wrong show loaded in StageTracks, but that's fine. The right song will play. Actually, I'm going to quickly go back to this cue to fix this page 4 mistake here, so I don't get confused with that later. All right, done. And now we're here to the castle. So Topher sings. Now let me spot where the guys start singing, because that's when we want to have them open. Yes, so to the castle. Wonderful. So here Topher sings, and then in measure 31, His Royal Highness, yes, 31. So right at 31, we can open the ensemble mics, and this vamp here happens before this. I'm not going to deal at all with vamps or any of these other events right now. The only thing that I'm going to do about this here is I'm going to disable MIDI on this event, because I don't know yet and I don't want to get confused later. So if I have this disabled, this event is not going to send any mic change events to the board when this vamp is devamped. So I'm not going to have to worry about this, keeping this up to date later with the actual mics. Okay. So that's what I'm going to do as I go through this. I'm going to just mostly, for most part, I'm just going to disable them unless there's a reason to not to do that. And I'm going to mention it as I go. All right. So we have Topher singing, and then we said what? We said measure 31. So measure 31 is unmute nights. Unmute nights. And so Sebastian, Knights, Sebastian, and Pinkelton. So on Sebastian and Pinkelton, Sebastian is 8, Pinkelton is 3. And the Knights are going to be in this back vicinity here, right? The ones that we left open for Knights. So this is another to-do. Check ensemble, just to make sure for later that we have the correct mics open for this. All right, save it. And it got attached here to the, appended to the end. That's correct, because that exit vamp here is in measure 5, right? So the way these read is vamp song 2, measure 5R, beat 1. Okay, and I'm notating my events here with M31 for measure 31 if it's just right on the downbeat. I'm going to specify, specifics on that later as well if it's necessary. Okay, now let's go through the rest of the song. I don't think anything changes. Oh, interesting. There's a sound effect. There is a sound effect. And then it continues. That's pretty interesting. And there's nothing else in this song. Let me see if this song is split up. No, it's not. So that is an interesting aspect. I'm going to make a note here as I go. This is for measure 81. It's going to create a new event here. Measure 81 to do sound effect drag and thump. I'm going to call that for now. All right. I'm going to disable the mics for this so that I don't have to keep track of anything here changing with this. There's someone that's counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It says slingshot, thump, and jump. Thump and jump. Okay, I actually have 3 events here. Slingshot, thump, and jump. Okay, that's going to be addressed later. I'm going to have to get the sound effects, and then I can load them in here by browsing them anywhere I have access to. So if you're running this app on a Mac, you can browse anywhere on your Mac for sound effects files. And if you're browsing, or even on iCloud from your Mac, if you're running the app on an iPad or an iPhone, you can browse iCloud or the entire iPhone area that you have, whatever you have access to. And then the sound effect will be fetched from wherever it is and copied into the show directory so that it always comes and stays with the show. And that sound effects audio will then play from the app, even though the songs are playing from the StageTracks app, which is actually kind of cool because you can make it so that they play out into different inputs on your board, if we set it up this way, right? So that's kind of interesting because then you have different controls for the music and for the sound effects. So that's kind of neat. All right. So that's all set and ready to do whatever we need to do with that. In the meantime, going back, paying attention here to the mics. Nothing else is necessary. They're always just the same people involved. And nothing ever changes. There's no big dance break where they all need to be unmuted, muted. And they're mostly singing in unison or with harmony and responses and stuff like that. So it's all what it is to the end of the song. So we don't need any more mic cues for this song. That's going at a pretty good pace here now. Let's see what else is going on. Let's go through the script. All right, scene 2 outside Madame's cottage, and the march ends outside Madame's cottage, and then that's where scene 2 starts. But that's also where this thing starts on the other side. Okay. All right, so let's trigger this here. And so it didn't do anything because I disabled this, remember? I disabled it for all of them. So this here is going to be triggered. Unmute Nights is going to be triggered automatically from an event in StageTracks. And this one here is a to-do that this will also be automatically triggered. So I'm just going to go on, and it's not going to change anything here because they're still singing. And at the end, there is not enough space to get a mute all in. And I wonder if we would even need one, because they're supposed to end up in front of Madame's house, and then it goes just right on to it. We have to assume that it's not an a cappella situation, because this song has a start song event built into the template file. So we're in good shape on that one. But this here is an applause segue. So this is another very typical notation. So it's going to be page 7, applause segue, there. And now we have to figure out which mics need to be open. There is a little bit of, so this is essentially something instrumental without any dialogue. And it starts with a pumpkin rolls on stage, followed by Ella. Sebastian stops the pumpkin with his foot, and then there's the first line, and that's Sebastian. And then it's Sebastian, Ella, and Topher. Sebastian, Ella, and Topher. All right, so we have Ella, Topher, and Sebastian. And then there's also Marie, but she comes in later, so that will be for later. Oh, but, all right, I'm actually not going to do this right here. This is just the applause segue. And again, I'm going to use the applause segue to mute all the mics, right? From the other song. I have the mics open like this. So I'm going to keep them open. No, I'm not going to keep them open. I'm going to mute them all when this kind of scene transition music starts within the applause. And then after that, I'm going to open the mics in a separate queue. Now, there are two different ways to do this. The standard way that I prefer is doing it this way. I'm going to show you right now. Topher writes off is, let's see what that is. It just has a start song. So sometimes I combine music into a scene, but this is too complicated right now. I'm just going to show you a straightforward way of setting this. So see, this could turn into a song, and this here is a bunch of talking, but there might be some interference needed. Okay, yeah. So let's just keep it more, I would say, more manageable here for a moment. and a little bit more straightforward. So what I'm going to do here is applause segue, Cinderella enters. That's going to mute all. And then the next event is going to just unmute the event, the mics for these 3 people that we mentioned here, right? And so here, we're just going to do that. We could probably also have that. Let me see here. Let's just hook it up to this. There's the pumpkin rolling music. Rapid 3-note tremolo. So that's in measure 7. You know what? Let's just do that. We can automate this. So we're going to have measure 7. Open mics. That's it. And it's going to be automatically triggered, and everything will be wonderful. And then, so this will mute all and start the cue. Then the cue will automatically trigger this, and then we'll be right here. We might be right here. We might be right here. Let's see how far this is and how many extra events I need. So normally I would put, so Marie comes, and then there is nothing else here. Lord Pinkerton comes. Does he come in and out? Let's see, Pinkerton, to draw their swords. When does Pinkerton come in? He's already there. Pinkerton is already there because he was already with the guys when they arrived. Yeah, Pinkerton is already there. But we can open him when Marie comes. Okay, so that's what we'll do. All right, this one here is going to have this kind of format. It's still on page 7. The cue line is going to be Ella exits with a pumpkin. Topher, really? So good thing I actually overlooked this. So this is really. Ella exits. And then we fire the cue. And Ella gets off. And Madame gets... No, Marie gets on. There you go, Marie. Yeah. Yeah, you can do that at the same time. That's not a problem at all. They're coming in. There's like one line in between. Yes. Yes. But then there's Lord Pinkerton. Oh, Ella is talking again. How did Ella get big? Ella re-enters. Yeah, that's dumb. Okay, let's leave. We'll just leave Ella here. Because Ella is it's coming right back, literally. That's stupid. Or, because you see, there's always so many different ways of doing this. This is fine. This is fine. And then we'll go page 8. And we're going to add page 8. Marie is still there. Ella is still there. And Pinkerton has a line. Marie's still there. Yeah, that's fine. That's good like this. And what is the line? The line is bless you kind sir. Q. Bless you kind sir. hit it, and then it goes to that, and then it goes to the next song piece here. As you see, I'm tempted to move this cue into this scene because he's just writing off. There's nothing going on that is of any kind of this is weird because there's another music cue event in the score that isn't reflected here. There's no event here for this. It's a bummer. It would be nice to have. Let me just, let's take a 2-minute break here. Give me 2 minutes to check on something real quick. Bum 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 Let me see something. Let me see something. At least we can have a little bit of reference from this, I think. Okay, let me see something. Let me see something. We already have this. Okay. Let's see which version. 2.3.1. Okay, that's already here. Alright. Don't repair, don't repair, yes. Oh, this is 1.9. Actually, I don't want this show. I don't want this. I don't want this one. We don't want this one. And there's really no... Let me think about this for a second here. So actually, we will want to download this from here. Oh, I already did, right? No. Okay, good. All right, let's do this. And I'm just gonna do some finagling here real quick so that windows are just sometimes kind of tricky to handle in. Alright, here we are. And I'm just going to grab this and drag it here. Let's see what happens. Okay. And now. Here it is. So which version? Let's launch this one. This one. Okay. All right, all right, all right, all right. All right. Huh. Yeah. I see. Okay, very nice. Very nice. Well, maybe this might be an interesting new experience. Let me see. Let me see. All right. Yeah. Very interesting, very interesting. All right, that, and then this. All right. Oh. Looks like this is wrong. All right. Nice. Oh, good. Look at that. Huh. All right. No. Schade. Okay, well, at least we can reference the events. Let me show you what I just did. Or actually, it doesn't matter. So we're just going to focus on setting up the show. On Topher rides off. Huh. That's interesting. So there isn't actually any second go for the second part on this. Let me see, which measure is that? 12? Ah, okay. Let's see. Why is it not doing anything? That's kind of weird. It's not doing anything. Goodness. I see. Buttercup. Okay, yeah. All right, fine. So this is something I need to revisit when I have the actual tracks. Fine, that's perfectly fine. So let's just continue what we were doing here. Sorry for the interruption and for the break. If it would have worked what I was thinking, then it would have been a nice thing, but it doesn't. So it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. All right, coming back in here. Where are we? Where are we? All right. Well, once we get in the groove, I think we can still make our 2 to 2.5 hour goal. So we have Topher rides off. I'm going to put, oh yeah, so we need to spot where this is and put this into a note in here. Topher rides off. I am standing right here on page 8. Page 8, Q. I'm standing right here. Fire, and then the song starts. Beautiful. And what do we have for mics? Pinkerton, Topher, Ella, and then that's where the second hit starts. Okay, I should actually sometimes I kind of mark up my script a little bit, but most of the time I just rely on the cue notes that I type in here, because that's all I need. Okay. Ella, Topher, Pinkerton. Sebastian was just done. and we're moving on, and Sebastian is finished. So these are the only three that have still something going on here. So this is good for Topher right off. And I'm going to just make an event here. Buttercup. And then we have Marie and Ella, and then later Jean-Michel comes in. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, anyway, this is also page 8Q. He says Buttercup. Okay, but I need to set it to do here. Add Caesura to StageTracks. In exactly where? I can actually spot this with the download that I just made. In 13.1. 13.1. Yeah, that has to be spotted at the end anyway, so that's okay. All right, so then on Buttercup, sorry, my mind. This is Topher, and then it's, so Topher needs to be turned off anyway. But that's fine. So Topher, where were we here? This is Pinkerton. Pinkerton is already done. And no, so there's not. This is Marie. This is Pinkerton. So there, that's good for this. Add Caesura, and this is going to be this. We are going to trigger that one. Yes, we are going to trigger that. Good, and then we'll have one more here, and that is going to be when we. I should actually. So, all right, I need to trigger this so I can update the mics, but then I need to remember to go back to the previous song. So here we are. And now I'm going to add another event here that is actually automatically going to get rid of Topher. Oh, I think we're going to put him out. Probably put him out in 20 and maybe adjust later, so it doesn't matter. So here's a 20. Get rid of Topher, and gosh, I keep mixing this up here. So this is Marie, this is Topher. No, this is Ella, this is Topher, this is Pinkerton, this is Marie. Hold on, okay. Mute all the guys. And that is going to be triggered. That's going to be a triggered event. That's why I labeled it with the measure number, measure 20. Okay, good, wonderful. So that's happening, and then we have Jean-Michel coming in later. Well, we already have some stuff going on here that is manually triggered. So why not keep this going here and add, even after the song is done, we can add an event here to unmute Jean-Michel. So this is on page 9. The cue line is going to be I don't generally like to use cue lines that are super tight. So I'm just going to make it, Marie, please take this coin. Marie, please take this coin. And that's when, so Topher is already out by then. Oh gosh, Topher is number 2. Topher is already out by then. And Jean-Michel, that was number 9, right? Double checking. Double checking. Double checking. Yeah, Jean-Michel is number 9. Sebastian is number 8. All right, good. All right. So that's a manual fired cue. And the next cue so we're here on page 9. Yes, okay, double checking. Marie, Jean-Michel, Marie. The script is not very Ella. The script doesn't say where she goes off. Interesting. Be nice, that's kind of like she's leaving, but it doesn't say she's leaving. That's fine. So there's a Madame offstage yell again. I'm going to try to see if there's something to do here. Page 10, Q. Riddles our government. And here we need Madame back on. And I'm going to notate this here again. Madame off stage. All right. There. Beautiful. Okay, and then the next one is right there. So I'm ready for this one. Parade of purchases. That's right then and there. Page 10 again. Q. Cinderella. That's an offstage cue. Like so. Step back here. And it starts a song. Okay, now we have to either disable this mic field or use it. But we actually have just the same people, but I'm going to rearm them here anyway. So we have Ella is coming right back. No, but she doesn't have any lines in a while. She doesn't have any lines for a while. So it's Jean-Michel. That was number 9, and then Marie, and then Madam, okay, parade of purchases. Oh, look at that. she says again. Okay. She's still off stage. She's still off stage. And then the third time she finally enters. Alright. Alright. So there's only Marie, Jean-Michel, then Madame is off stage this whole time, and Marie and Jean-Michel are talking. So that's all there is for now. Okay, so that's for the beginning. And again, this is the wrong music playing in the background, but don't worry about that. It just shows that it is communicating with StageTracks. That's a good thing. Now this vamp here is in measure 24, and we do have a cue line for that, so we can set this. Oh, this is cut on cue. So that has to be reviewed carefully, because cutting on cue is not quite so simple. Sometimes it doesn't work out with the existing events, but I can tweak this later. So we're going to have cut on cue. Careful, no one knows the extreme torture I'm subjected to, and that is Madam. Yeah, sometimes if you want to make this very accurate, you actually have to look through the scripts very carefully. That's just what it is. Oh, but here's Gabrielle. What is with that? Gabrielle entering. That's actually after the vamp, supposedly. That's actually after the vamp. Okay, so we have to figure out how to do the actual vamp, and then the restart resume Caesura. Let's see how this is supposed to work. So that's right in the same vicinity. So you're gonna not worry about this one. We're gonna turn the mic action off for this one, and we're also going to turn the mic action possibly. No, this is actually a good opportunity to add the other girls to this. Yeah. Very good. So now I'm actually going to have to reference my mic map here for a second. Charlotte, Gabrielle, and Charlotte, 6 and 7. 6 and 7. So resume Caesura. We're going to add 6 and 7. Gabrielle and Charlotte, and Madame is still there. Charlotte, Madame, Gabrielle, Jean-Michel is also still there. Is Marie still there? Where did Marie go? No, she's also still there. Okay. Okay. So I think we still have everyone here. Enters the house with Charlotte, that's Madame, and then she comes back out. This may not require for the mic to be muted and unmuted, so I'm going to leave it. Yeah, I think we still have everyone on stage who should be there. Everyone is unmuted according to that. Oh, here's Ella. Here's Ella being added. Where do we need to add Ella if it's quite all right? She could be unmuted this whole time in case there's some ad-libbing going on. But why not give the book to Dear Ella? Is on page 11. Let me see if I can find this in the score. No, the score ends with them exiting into the house. Okay, that's fine. That's great. So now we're going to be free for a second. This is where the score ends. I'll just put that note in here. Music ends there. All right, that's good. So the music ends there. I need to write a note on this one, right? Did I say page 11? Oh, this must be page 12 then. Music ends, measure 26. 26 is over here. Oh yeah, I'm ignoring that. I'm ignoring that. This is Madame. I'm ignoring that. Madame, 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 Madame. Goodness. Madame, noticing my Jean-Michel, I'm ignoring that. I'm subjected to, that was here just a second ago. Where was it? Where was it? Where was it? Subjected to. Ha, here's I'm ignoring that. Okay. I'm subjected to is where the cutoff happens. All right, cutoff. Ah, yes, yes, yes. Okay. So this is, I'm ignoring that. Yeah. And that's on page 10 still. 10Q. I'm ignoring that. That's resuming at the caesura. And yeah, so that's where the daughters come in. That's where the stepdaughters come in, right? So we have this, and then exit vamp, and then I'm ignoring that. This is where the stepdaughters come in. Good. All right. Now let me make another note here for myself to exit vamp. This is actually going to be a little different. Let me make a note here to do. Create cutoff using fade. Maybe, maybe not. Create cutoff with vamp slash skip. There are some special tricks that are actually quite tricky. I don't think they're even documented on StageTracks, but there are some special tricks. Maybe we can come back and do them, but that's a to-do. That's a to-do item. Okay, so we're done here. Page 10, that's a manual cue. I'm ignoring that. And then here's where the music enters. So we need to get Ella to go back in. Ella is down there. That requires a manual cue after all of this. I'm going to name this one page 11. Right before Ella comes on is take this book and burn it. Cue, take this book and burn it. Ella adds to it. Okay. Now from here we have Ella. Take the book and burn it right here. So we have Marie. Marie, Ella. Madame is done for a while. Madame follows her into the house. And the girls are done as well. And yeah. Yes. So the girls are out and Madame is out and Jean-Michel is still hanging out. And Ella is there and Marie is there. And that's right there. Okay, very good. So that is there. So we're at the last one there. Take this book. Take this book and burn it. Take this book and burn it. There you go. That's good. Now, of course, good. Okay. 12, a book. Yeah, sometimes when you go through a thing like this, it seems as if this is maybe over-engineering it a little bit. But it's always a little bit easier to remove things than to add. A book, and it keeps going. And who comes in? Madame. Madame comes in. And this is exactly where Jean-Michel and Michel and Marie exit. This is nice. So then we have only Madame and Ella. And that's all the way until she starts to sing. Very good. So here is now the song, and that is also on page 12. Page 12. Clean the porch. Let's see if we have anything new here. Clean the porch with these rags. It's a little long. I was going to put Q with these rags. Exclamation point, maybe like so. And then with these rags. And then it's just Ella solo singing and getting ready for her song here. Yeah. In my own little corner. Okay, this is just the Fox and the Raccoon, so they actually don't have any lines. That's good. And then there's the tag. Alright, let's see. In the own little corner, this triggers just that. Okay, wrong music, that's fine. Tag Your Majesty. Okay, let's see how this goes at the end here. All kinds of stuff. Applause segue. Applause segue. And Ella is right back on. Alright, so that means we don't need to worry about muting her at the end of the previous song. We're just going to go here and go page 14. Applause segue. And she's still on. Now, how soon are other people coming? Topher is actually singing in that playoff little thing. Alright, so Topher joins Ella in measure 9. Alright, very good. So we'll save this and then we'll create a measure 9 event. Measure 9, add Topher. I'm just gonna unmute Topher, and there you go. Alright, now we're on a roll. Look at this. So Topher singing, blah blah blah. Oh, there's Pinkerton. Ooh, look at that. So Topher and Ella are done. I don't think they need to be muted, but in measure 19 we're going to have to add Pinkerton. And so this is slightly easier when you fire this and then just go back to it, because that updates the mic channels up there, and then if you when you add the next one you don't have to set this up from scratch. Add Pinkerton, and Pinkerton is 3, and that's this, and then we'll go back to it. So we're in measure 19 now, and then Topher is still there. Oh, here's Sebastian adding to it. Is anything happening to Ella, I wonder? In my chair, probably not. It doesn't say she exits, so we'll just keep her on. And their singing ends at the end of 32. Singing ends at the end of 32. And then there's a little interlude and with a bunch of dialogue on top. All right, so I think we're going to automate opening all of the dialogue mics somewhere in the middle of 32. So I'm just going to put measure 30. Whoops. What happened? I'm just going to put Pink Hilton. What's wrong with this one? Let's just do it. No. Pink Hilton. So. Okay, so these are on there, and now we go back and add in measure 32, right? Yes. 32, maybe on 3, but it doesn't really matter. We're going to add Pinkleton. Pinkleton is not number 4. Pinkleton is not number 4. Pinkleton is already added. That's 3. We're going to add Sebastian, and that is 8. That is 8. Add Sebastian. So Sebastian is talking, and then Jean-Michel to. Whoa, which one? This one? Where did it go?
It's made of a web.
Whoa. Do you want to take it or you want to leave it here? Leave it here? Okay.
Yeah.
So where were we? Jean-Michel. Let's add Jean-Michel right here as well. I think this will be fine. And that'll be triggered. So let's fix this up properly here. With a capital M. Come on. Sep and JM are getting added here. All right. Beautiful, beautiful. And Topher is still hanging out. Ella doesn't say anything for a while, and Sebastian is there. So maybe Ella could get out. Let's see where we are. We were last on page 14. I see. Okay, that's good. Music continues underneath. Topher, Sebastian, Topher, Jean-Michel, Sebastian. Topher, Jean-Michel, Sebastian. For a long time. For a long time. It seems almost as if Ella isn't there anymore. So I think actually we could actually make this a little bit different. Make this Make this, and take Ella out from here. I think that should work just fine. Yes. Aha. Hold on. Ella's already out. So we need to do it like that. Yes, yes. Alright, so that's in 32. Ella is out. Yeah. Now we're actually going to the next one. Great. So now we're in song 5. Princess giving a ball. Big thing, big thing. So we're going to put page 15, 17. 17 Q is double checking in the score. An announcement. An announcement. All right. And then, so who's going to be on for this one? Sebastian, His Royal Highness. Sebastian is 8. Topher is there. Christopher Rupert, Topher and Sebastian. Topher and Sebastian for a while. Right? Nobody else. Topher and Sebastian. Oh, Lord Pinkerton and others. And other lords. Herman. So that's... Herman. That is... This is all confusing because it's different in the score than in the script. I'm just going to leave Jean-Michel in here. So we have something in there. And then this goes to 59, 59, but there is things, so Jean-Michel has a long solo. Let's actually I'm gonna solo Jean-Michel for his solo, because it's long. And it starts at 21, so I'm going to get the others out in 21. Measure 21, JM solo. And it's just going to be Jean-Michel like so. Then, oh, but that's in the wrong place. Measure 21 is up here, so let's move it up to this one. Yeah. Measure 21, and then we're on. Okay, now I'm watching the score. No, listen, tradespeople, tinkers, and fishmongers. So it seems like, what's going on? Are the others doing interjections? Jean-Michel tells people, no, listen. Okay, Conrad shouts, that's fine, we don't need them on mics, that's fine. No, listen, fully just can't wait to be served by fate on a silver plate or a tray. And here's where the card comes in, 68. But now we're in 59, so this, oh, this is a safety. All right, so we'll deal with the safety later, but we're going to put a page number on here so that we have orientation about where this is. Take from all of us, right here. From all of us, and it's on page 19. Page 19. Q, take from all of us. I have to coordinate with vamps. You always have to coordinate how it actually goes on and how the singing gets back in. So this has to be dialed in later. We're not going to. Actually, we're just going to reset. No, well, I'm not going to do anything about it. That way, I don't have to keep track of it. All of us, so that's the devamp here. Okay, got it. Exit vamp. And then the crowd comes in. Crowd comes in at 68, so I'm going to unmute them at 67. Measure 67. Maybe let's make it. No, it's fine. 67. Unmute crowd. And that's probably going to be a bunch of people back here. Maybe these, probably these, but more likely these all probably. Okay. Crowd. Yes. All right. To do check crowd. I'm just going to put these to-dos everywhere where it's not quite certain. That way I don't have a hard time finding these places later. Now 67 is before this exit vamp, so I'm going to move it into the right spot right there. And so later when the show plays, this will be useful to have them in the right order, because then it'll be clear. You get clearly alerted by the user interface when you have nothing to do yet for these events here that fire in between, and then when you do have something to do, it shows that accordingly as well. All right. All right. Hour and a half in, and we're in number 5, and this is a very long song. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so the townspeople are unmuted by now. This woman is giving a what? We'll deal with that later. We'll deal with that later. We really have everyone on by then. Lord Pinkleton rings his bell. Lord Pinkleton, ding ding, rings his bell. We need a sound effect for this, but maybe not. Crowd stays on. Pinkleton is already included here in this crowd mute, so he just rings the bell. He's already on, so I don't think we need to keep him muted and create another event for him. I think we can just leave it. We can just leave it. Here's the other safety there. Hello, I'm talking here. Now is the time. Yeah, that's now. Hello, I'm talking here. Right, so this is a big coordination thing here. So the previous invitation. Hello, I'm talking here is that. And the prince shall cross his queen. That means hello, blah blah blah. Anyone can be the queen. Hello, I'm talking here. Where's that? Shh. Ding ding. That's the other one. It's getting what? That's getting close. Professional education. Short shoes. That means anyone can be a queen. So will he want a taller girl? Oh, these are solos. First about things, but that's later, isn't it? Later. Let's say that must be the prince. It's sometimes so difficult to find in the script what's going on. So ding ding, Pinkleton. Crowd gathers around Pinkleton. Here's the ding ding. Pinkleton butt, townspeople ball, racing station. Oh, His Royal Highness, townspeople Herman. Is that Herman? Feels like this is a different version. This almost feels like the version of the script is not in line with the version of the score. I think I should just go with the score. Pinkleton rings his bell. Yeah, I think that would be better. Pinkleton is in. That's in 75. Where are we? What bar number are we to? We did 67. Unmute crowd. That's here. Then we did the Take From All of Us. That was before then. Exit vamp. The next exit vamp is at 107. And this Pinkleton is just covered. Here is 107. Hello, I'm talking here. Let's just put that. The only problem is that I don't know a page number for this. Page, I don't know what page, I can't find it. It's different script. Q is something like, it's to be determined, but it is something like, hello, I'm talking here. Talking here. Hello, I'm talking here. It just continues on. I don't think it's worth unmuting anyone. It should just sustain on through. Yeah. Now we're here. The next vamp is at 159, but there is something. There are those women in the windows, and we can refine this later. Pinkerton's already on. Everyone's already on. The next thing that needs to change that affects the mics is actually when Madame comes in. The prince is giving a what, and that happens. That happens in 142. All right, and that's before this, so we are in the right place for that. And I'm going to call this measure 141. 2, I said. 142. Madame. Madame. So Madame is 5. There, that's Madame. 142. Beautiful. All right. Probably more people there to be unmuted. 154, that's a repeat. There's a safety. Now we're on 159. So this is a safety. All of the vamps need to be reviewed in the end. So that's, you know, that is what it is. So safety, the crowd reacts. After anyone can be the queen. Oh, I have that. That's on page 22. 22. Q. Anyone can be a queen. The queen can be the queen. The vamp. Alright, and also no effect on mics. That's where the women solos come in. And then we finally get to Ella in 177. In 177, we finally get to Ella. So 177, measure 177, add Ella. So that's number 1. Only women, and then there's dance break, so that is worth doing a little bit of stuff here. I think I would probably just get rid of the guys, get the guys out, put the stepsisters in. They're probably already in. And what did we say? Are the guys in the back? Or the guys in the front? I don't remember now. Let's double check. We'll double check the mic map. So, okay, lady ensemble are from 10 through 13, and they have to be reviewed, so that's fine. So 10 to 13, and probably we'll take the guys out. Oh, but there's another consideration. But consideration. That may need fixing, because if this happens too soon, we might cut off the guys, and we don't want that. Yeah, so let's do that again. Here, all the people that turn off from here to here. Ah, okay. I see. So it's actually from this. This is ignoring the MIDI. This is ignoring that data, and that's fine. But then this Ella solo has to keep 8 and 9 and 14, 15, 16 on first. 8 and 9, 14, 15, 16, and we can mute them a little bit later, just so they don't get cut off. Let's call it 183. Mute men, so we have Ella going, and these are men. There. Okay, and we have it in the wrong place, but that's fine. We can fix this, right? Can we? Yeah. Ella solo, mute the man, keep Ella solo going. These are just a couple of measures apart from each other. Oh, this can actually be sooner. Like so. That's fine. All right. Okay. Mute men, and then we have this stuff going here with just the women singing chorus, and then we have a dance break after this. Yeah. So 196 is where the dance break starts. I'm going to put a mute all event in 197. So measure 197, mute all, dance break, like so. Yeah, that's nice. And then they're coming back in all together. Tears of Alice invitation. Here you go. In 274. 274. And dance break. All. Pretty much all. So all of these guys are going to be back in, and probably, let's see, Topher, Pinkerton for sure. Probably Topher and Marie might be the only ones who are not on at that point. 274, but we could go in and out. Could go in and out. I think that's what we'll do. I think that's what we'll do. Whenever there's so many bars in between for dancing. So here now I'm going to make a little trick. I'm going to set this, turn the second on. Oh, there's Jean-Michel. That's fine. I'm going to go 297 here. Measure 297 all. And that's the same as this kind of thing. Yeah. Okay, but then I'm gonna go back first. Oh wait, this needs an M. This cannot survive without an M with my system. Yes. Okay, so then it's 293 is Jean-Michel. 293. 293 JM solo. Jean-Michel is 9. Jean-Michel is 9, like so. But it's in 293, so we need to order it properly. There. And then we also have 297, they come back. Okay, that's fine. So we are missing one more, and that's the second mute all after this, where the second break starts. And that was 280. Measure 280, mute all. More dance. There. Mute all, more dance. Here. Yes. End dance break. So here all come on. Then 280. Next step, everyone is muted for some more dancing. 293. Jean-Michel solo, and 297 all for some more crowd singing. Okay, we're here. More crowd. Climax 2, where Pinkerton is taking over. Pinkerton solo, little Pinkerton solo in 315. But then the crowd immediately does responses, so there's no reason to separate this. Pinkerton, high voices, crowd, that's all good. And yeah, it goes all the way to the end. All the way to the end. And then we get applause segue into the next one. So, so what I like to do for this kind of stuff is I'm going to put a manual mute all at the end. Actually, there's a faster way to do this. Mute all. I'm gonna put a manual and a song manual mute all. Okay, that is, and I'm gonna put in a song. That's fine. So whenever the song ends, it doesn't matter where it is, right? And of course, that's not the last event. There, manual mute all, and we're ready to do another photo sequence, so scene change, Marie. Aha. That's, so we're on page 24 now. Page 24. All right, page 24, applause segue. And that's going to be a mute all. That should be a mute all. And then in 17, Marie comes on, and that's automatically triggered. You're 17. Unmute Marie. And Marie is 4. And this will be triggered. Okay, fine. Well, Marie 17 is a little late. Let's do 16. 6, 8, so we're gonna do 16, 16, 2. All the other girls are there, but that's fine. Ratchet. Corset tight. Okay. 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 Let's see. Scene 5. Okay. Okay. I think now I'm finally going to be able to show you something else. Or no, we're going to just keep going on this. Let's see how far away we are. Okay, so it goes on to 49 for Act 1, and we're now 2 hours in. Well, I think we should continue. There's no use not to. No use not to, right? Let's see, do we have anyone here? Welcome to the live chat. I wonder. Okay. So there are basically 2 ways of handling this continuation here. I would probably, we can either create a scene between songs here, or we can just pack the manual events in with the other things that happen. But I'm just going to create a new scene. And so this is the first time I'm showing you this. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it. That Venetian glass is all in the middle of dialogue and stuff. And then Off to the Ball is more or less sung. So for that we come back. Well, let's just continue on this here and continue to place manual events at the end of the song. I think this will work just fine. So we'll have I mean Marie, that's when Marie starts singing, and then Marie is done singing, and we're inside Madame's cottage, and Ella and Charlotte are there. So Ella, Madame, wait, is Madame coming later? Marie is actually getting out, and Madame comes in with Gabrielle. Princess giving a ball, whoop, and it's probably too short to trigger. Okay, so this here is going to be a manual trigger at the end of the song. And I'm going to put a page number here. Page number will be 26. Yeah, page number 26, end of song. Marie is going to exit. After Okay, let's just put in the song, Marie exits. That'll be a good cue. That'll be a good cue. And then after that, it's going to be Madame, Gabrielle, and Charlotte. And Ella is going in and out. I think I'm going to put Ella in right from the beginning of the scene to see what happens. And we could take her out here and later unmute her, but I think we can save some events if we just keep it going. It was just Ella, Madame, Charlotte, and Gabrielle. So 4 people right there. So Marie exits, and that's fine. But there's Sebastian. There's some guys coming in. Okay. So she swings open the door. What brand of idiot would? Another knock. So there are door knocks here. Okay. So we might mark this for door knock sound effects. To do ? Sound effects door knocks ? Don't mess up mics. Well, actually, if there are mics, we can. Okay, let's make it more formal. Let's do it like this. We're gonna put page 27 door knock. So the cue is get that dress on Charlotte. And we might have sound effects there or not, because if we don't, we can still use it to switch the mics over. Okay. Did we do something wrong? Did we forget something here? No. Marie exits. That's fine. That's fine. So, but let's set everything. So we have Ella is around. Ella, Gabriel, and Charlotte exit. And Madame approaches the door. And then Sebastian is there. All right, good. So we have Sebastian and Madame. And the others all have exited. And it's only Madame and Sebastian. And then Sebastian exits. All right. There you go. So that's page 27, and then page 27 again. Let me keep track here of a little bit of notation in the script. Together we shall make this. So, cue, together we shall make this so. Okay, then we have everybody else come back on. Yeah, well, I think we should have them back on. It'll be nice to have mics in case they want to just play a little bit. Right? So get that dress on Charlotte. Let's go from here. Marie exits. It's all the 4 girls. Then the door knocks. It's only Madame and Sebastian. And then the girls come back in. Okay, so that's good, right? Now the girls are back in and we're actually ready for the next song. So we're going to put here, that's also, yeah, it's also on page 27. And the cue is, script fails, keeps falling down. Here we go. Cinderella, fetch the orange box. On box open. So orange box on box open. You know, sometimes directors don't read the scripts so carefully, so you'll just have to see, you know, if that's what you want to do or that's what they want to do. But that's what tech rehearsals are for, right? If you can change it easily, it's still a good setup to prepare everything. Orange box. Okay, we only have Madame here. Madame, placing glass, blah, blah, blah. Another knock. Another knock. So, okay, this is actually not doing anything, but just in case they want to start here, I'm just going to put the same people on into this queue as well, where the music starts, right? Because that's, you're coming from here. If you're doing this in context, you're setting the mics here and it's already correct. But if you come from somewhere else and you have some random mic set or no mic set, then this cue start here will also put the mics in the right place, right? Okay, back. Now, there is also possibly a sound effect, and that's would be done, let's see, Venetian glass, powder puff, Charlotte feed the baby, blah, 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 Madam Rhythmically, and yes, yes, posture. Good evening, madam. Where's that? Where is that? I have a feeling that we're looking at different versions. I don't like it. Because there are too many discrepancies between the script and the score. Too many. Jean-Michel here. Entering. Okay, so actually, this is supposed to be the end of it. Bum, 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 bottom. So add Jean-Michel automatically with measure 65. That should work. That should work. Add MIDI event, yes. Measure 65, add JM. Music out, dialogue continues. Yes. Jean-Michel is this guy here, and all the girls are still there. Are they? Madame, Gabrielle, Madame, Gabrielle, blah. I wonder if Ella left at some point or not. Cinderella, my shoes. Ella, part of her shoes. Yes, I see. So Ella doesn't say anything. No, she's coming, madame. She is. Oh no, there's Jean-Michel here. So, it doesn't matter. We can find a place later to turn Ella off if we see that it's bothering if her mic is on. So, yeah. Yeah. So Jean-Michel comes, but then he doesn't stay there for long. So this is after the end. And that's going to be when Jean-Michel leaves. Should perhaps consider. Page 28. Page 28. After music, question mark. So it's in any case manually. Manual fire. After music, question mark. And there's going to be a cue. Come on. The cue is, would you perhaps consider? And that gets Jean-Michel out again, and all the girls stay, including Ella. Yes, that's the idea. That is the idea. Okay. Belle that comes out now outside Madame's cottage. It just continues on. This is scene 6. But there's Jean-Michel again. They go outside, then they meet Jean-Michel again. He's still hanging out. And then there's number 7 in page 32. So this is outside the cottage. I wonder how blocking will do this, so we don't know that yet. That is fine. And there's not much back and forth. It's just Jean-Michel adds back here. So we'll just put page 31. That's far away. Cinderella is not going anywhere. That's page 31. Okay. Q. Cinderella's. Not going anywhere. That brings Jean-Michel back out. Back on. And then it's actually time for the next music cue. So, ha, that's absurd. Ha. Let's see if we're in sync with this. Ah. 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 Ah, something happened. Something weird happened. Where did that get overlooked? Here's music 07. Okay, it must have been here. It must have overlooked it. There must have been here. Oh, look at that. He died. I got a house. Ah, which you perhaps consider. So this is not much after this. Okay, that means okay, so this is actually going somewhere, but we have to recreate it. So that's fine. What you have to perhaps consider is after the music, that's correct. But then we need to go here first and start that one on page 29. And the cue for it is he died, I got a house. He died, I got a house. So that's how it goes. Okay, and what's going on here? It's still the same people, but again, similar to the previous example earlier, we're just going to keep the same people on and restart them here. Okay, now let's move this guy. We may want to add, but this is really easy to copy because we just literally just have the name to paste back in here. So that's going to go here. So Jean-Michel is going to come on, but that's actually going to be triggered here. There's not a self-fire. So we don't need any of this. We just need a spot where it happens, And so we don't have that as a duplicate. We're going to delete it from here. All right, fine. So now, he died, I got a house. Let me fix this here real quick. He died. I got a house. That starts, and then where was this? Cinderella not going anywhere. Oh, over here. Okay, interesting. So, off to the ball actually really touches it, carries this all together, which is not going anywhere. Madame, there was the posture. Necklace. Cinderella's not going anywhere. Jean-Michel comes on. Okay, got it. So this is actually in measure 65. Measure 65. And there's no cue, it doesn't matter. Since there doesn't need to be a cue, we just do add Jean-Michel. And he's already added, so because we already took this event, okay, I think we're in good shape. So that's an automated event, off to the ball, and that's the end of off to the ball. So we're done with that. In my own little corner, let's see this, make sure the script doesn't have any more tricks here. This is Jean-Michel and Ella. What's with the other guys here? What's with the other ones? The mad dash ends. So the truth of the matter is that right at that point, let's actually put this to 66. Let's put this to 66 and let's get all these girls removed because it's really just Cinderella and Jean-Michel after this. Yeah. All right, so we're here, and then we start song 7. That's going to happen on page 32. Page 32. Ha! That's absurd. Ha! There. And that's Ella solo? No, not for long. Well, yeah. Ella could go to the prince, blah, 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 singing, blah, 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 singing. Portrait. Scherzando, here we go. Follow the D. And we leave Ella open for that, and we add Marie to it in measure 40. So that's the next event that comes in here. Marie is 4, and this is measure 40. Add Marie. Beautiful. Okay, then there's a little bit of Marie, but Ella is talking soon, so we don't do anything. And then they're going back and forth, but there's no use automating that. We will just have them on faders. Ella and Marie throughout the end. Marie turns and rips off her rags and ragged clothes. Short stop. Yep. Okay, then we're going into impossible. Let's see if there's anything in between there. No, they just keep talking a little bit, and we actually go straight into the next song, and that happens at page 34. Page 34, and the cue to that is to be a fairy godmother. There. And just yes, yes. So there, it's just the two of them going back and forth. Fine, 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 fine. And it's transformations, and more or less everything just plays on. Let's just see. So impossible. There's nothing here because there it just plays attacca. It plays through. There's nothing here. It just plays attacca. All right. So there's actually nothing going on at all. Okay, that's an interesting thing because and nothing happens because in terms of mics because Marie and Ella are going through the whole thing. And then we have Flight to the Castle. Flight to the Castle is there's still okay, that's just a headline. That's 8B is possible. And does it happen after transformations, right? Yeah. So that's the end of this. So it just stays on, stays on, stays on. We may actually end up just removing these song entries here from the playlist items because if nothing happens, they will not automatically go away or like advance after they're done. So this here is the last one that actually has a trigger event. And then there's nothing here, and there's something. And even if we need to do something, we can always add whatever would come in these songs to the previous song, to this one, right? So very interesting. Oh, it's nice that these are there. So if you wanted to do anything there, you could add something. But in this case, so I'm just going to double check again. Transformations, nothing here. Glass slippers, nothing here. And then 8C is on again. So 8A and 8B have no events. I'm going to delete them from here. 8A and 8B. Yes. Okay. And I'm just going to go this needs to be edited, but we don't have that yet. Okay, got it. Okay, fine. Is there? No. Okay, that's cool. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Move on. Move on. All right. So we have impossible here. Then it goes to transformations. Oh no. Okay, that was deleted. Sorry for that. Let's do that again now, like this. Interesting, that's a little buggy, but that's fine, we'll fix it. Because I've removed them from here, they should be gone. So we'll go right to... That's really weird. That is really weird, okay. Well, let me make sure of something else. Cinderella, Broadway, load from disk. Okay. Into the palace. Here you go. Now it's fixed. Okay, now it goes. All right. Okay. Yeah. So everything is here. That's all good. That's all good. All right. So we go on and on and on, and then into the palace. That happens. Oh, there's a chorus. Uh-oh. There's a chorus. There's a chorus. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. So that means we have to add something here. That's good. That's going to be there are measures to this. There are measures to this. We're going to have this on. Yeah. It will all fall into place. It will all fall into place. Transformations, yada yada. Glass slippers, yada yada. Here it is. From glass slippers into it's possible. So we're going to have this in. It's going to be in measure. We're going to put it into measure 38. We're going to put it in measure 38 of 8B, right? Measure 38. And this is 8B. And that's going to be unmute ensemble. And that's literally going to be almost everyone for sure, everyone back here. And then quite possibly at least these guys for maybe backstage singing, and quite certainly these ones as well, and possibly even these guys. I'm just gonna keep them like that for now. But yeah, so that's the next thing that happens here. Measure 38 in 8B. Okay, and it's gonna get this in there, and it's gonna be fine. It's gonna work fantastic. Good. Interesting discovery, interesting. I'm not gonna explain why it works, but it will just fall in place. It'll just work wonderfully. Do these choir people ever leave? Yeah, they do, and they come back in and back out. Okay. So, let's keep going with this. So again, same as before. We're going to make it, we're going to have them come in before they go out. That way it's easier on the logistics. No, it's not. That's fine. Then we're going to have them out first. So out first is on 53. Measure 53. And I'm again going to put the 8B reference here just so we don't get confused when we enter those into StageTracks. Mute ensemble. And so here is just Ella. Is it just Ella or is it also Marie? It is just, it's just Ella. It's just Ella. All right. Then we'll have, okay, no, not edit, but a new one. 53. Here the ooze. So 74. Measure 74, and we're still in 8B. 8B. Add ensemble. And we had these same people singing here, all of them. There, that's good. 47, let's make this an M, and let's fix all my typos. My typos are not so bad today, but we'll fix them anyway. Yeah. All right, typos done. 74, we're right here. Ella, where's Marie? Where's Marie? Here's Marie. Yeah, she's in here anyway. Sorry, messing up. All right, and we're here. Yeah, 8B ensemble. 74. 74, good. Ah, Ella and Marie, and at the end, dum is the end. And then we go to Into the Palace. All right, plus segue. Plus segue, that means we have to somehow turn off the mics. but that's fine to do in the next song. So we'll just do that over here. All mute, applause segue. Let's just keep track of which page we're on. Into the Palace. 39. 39. Applause segue. Okay. Yes. Into the Palace. 39. Here we go. Applause segue. Yes. Oh, and this is actually just a let's see. Music number 9 then. Okay, well, I don't have the music because we don't have this the performance tracks yet. But it's actually going it's going into the gavotte, so that's fine. Segue S1 from number 8C. Topher enters. So let's put, yeah, we're going to put Topher unmute in here. And we're going to unmute him pretty early. That'll be in measure 7. And that is number 9. This is already in the correct space, but let's just make sure where we are here. Interesting. And Sebastian comes to, so yeah, let's just put them in together. Sebastian and Topher at the same time. And then in a little while, the other people come in. So we don't need this 9 at all, and we shouldn't put it because if we, let's just put them in 17. Steps enter, like so, and Sebastian and Topher are already there, and I have to double check if I made a mistake here. No, I didn't. That's good. But we're not at this exit vamp yet. So we have to remember to move the exit vamp down later. This is so weird. Doesn't want to move to the last spot. Steps enter. Steps means steps. Steps, that's the stepsisters and the stepmother. Those are together, they're the steps. Makes sense, right? Okay, so Topher and the steps, and where's Sebastian? Oh yeah, he's there. Yeah. Yeah, and we have to see if this makes sense to keep all of them on, or like Sebastian doesn't do anything in a long time, and here's the vamp, and nobody else came on, but Sebastian is pretty much done when these enter. So let me just take that Sebastian off of this one. There. I like that better. And then the exit vamp, we're going to switch. Moved on. Pinkleton. Pinkleton. What? Pinkleton say any words? No. No, he didn't. Only Sebastian had a little bit of a brief line at the beginning, so nothing here from Pinkleton. Pinkleton doesn't need to be unmuted. And then, all right, here's a conversation that starts sort of the whole thing after the devamp, and that's where we are. So this exit devamp should come on. Charlotte crosses to Pinkleton, grabs the mallet, and strikes the gong, walking away in disgust. So let's see where that is. In the ballpark off. That's in the ballpark off. Ready Crew is there. Gavot is there. Okay. Here's the thing with the gong. Okay, I get it. I get it. That's right here. So that's 40. This is at page 40. 40. Q. Gong. Question mark. And so at that point, the conversation kind of turns. Topher, Gabrielle, Charlotte, Gabrielle, Madame. Let's just keep them on. The Duchess, it's the Prince, so that might be one of those other ladies. Okay. Any more? Then we have Ready Grill. Okay. Okay, that works out nicely. They put to do Duchess, question mark. Duchess. All right. Well, but I can then go here and here. Wait a minute. Where's 10? Oh, 10. Everyone takes sides. Where's 10? Kindness. That is indeed odd. So 10 seems to be missing. That's fine. But it's a song with stuff. So that's odd that it's missing. It's odd that it's missing. All right, we're somewhere here. Okay, I'll tell you what. This is noon and 40 minutes, so we are on here now for 2 hours and 40 minutes. We're kind of almost done. It feels a little bit like we might leave a little gap here because there's things to figure out. What happened to number 10? That's not in the free file. Or we could finish. No, there's not. It's finishing is still pretty far away. There's 11, then there's Waltz for a Ball. And they're not there either, so that is concerning. The next thing that we have 10 minutes ago is not even there. 10 minutes ago, Reprise is not even there. So there are actually a lot of items missing here right now. There are quite a few items missing. I wonder, it's possible that they're all missing because they're empty. So I have to do a little bit of troubleshooting to see what's going on with them. And other than that, we only have 13 as the next one there, Kindness, and 13A. That's Finale Act 1. And Finale Act 1 is short. So really the bulk of the work needs to be done in 13, which isn't visible there, and I have to troubleshoot why that is. Anyway, so I have recorded, or not recorded, but broadcasted here for 2.5 hours, so 2 hours and 45 minutes going on. And I hope that you've seen some of the things that, how I do it, how much easier it is to do than doing this with QLab, if you've ever tried to work with QLab on this. And we'll do more of these kind of workshop, look over my shoulder type videos, and I'll do summaries of important highlights on them. But so for now, you can look forward to getting the update of the app that will allow you to download all of those free files that we have on our website at audiohost.com right now, available to push into the app for any StageTracks shows, or any licensed shows that are delivered by the ROCS StageTracks player, so that you can then remote control it from the AudioHost ShowPlayer Pro and run the entire show and have a very easy time setting up the mics yourself if that's what you want to do. Or we will also be offering complete built-out shows, and they will be in the style of what you just saw. So you can see that it's quite a bit of work to do it. It's a lot less work than doing it with QLab, and it's completely done for you if you just want to use our pre-built shows. Thanks a lot for watching, and thanks for spending some time here. If you're coming in later and seeing a replay, great, and I'll talk to you soon.